So, Unit 5, Day 6 notes. Of course, we're continuing on our journey through slope, equations of a line, graphing, using point slope, horizontal lines, and all of that nature. So we're continuing on this road through these equations. Now this right here, last day we did do graphing, we did do point slope. And understanding point slope a little bit more in this situation, I'm going to, instead of changing this to like distributing and solving this, what I'm going to do is keep it in this, and they want me to graph it using the point it's already, the situation that's already here, okay? So you have a point, it's in point slope, so you have a point and you have the slope. So I'll start with the easier of the two. We do have a slope, and the slope is here, okay? Point slope, if you remember, is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, okay? This is point slope. M represents slope, so at -2, that's our slope. And we know that -2, when we're graphing, is over 1, down to right 1, or up to the left 1. I tried to write it, arrow right there, to the left 1, -1, okay? So that is true for our slope when we have to graph, which we're going to have to do. But the different part is the point, okay? You know, a point has an x and a y, and we have to start there when we're graphing. We have to start at that point, and then we can use the slope. But we need to find the point first. Now, this is a -2, and this represents y1. Do you see how it has a minus already in the equation, and it has a minus here? That means this number that's here is positive. As you see, it already has a minus, and if this number was negative, then it would actually be a plus in the middle. But in this case, it's a negative in the middle. Since it's a negative, yes, it's -2, but in this case, because the equation has a minus in it, that makes y1 positive, okay? So y1 in this case is +2. And here, because this right here is actually a plus, okay, x plus 3, this actually, you have to take the opposite. It's going to be -3 for your x. So when it's in point slope, this number, you're basically taking the opposite. If it's -2, it's positive. If it's +3, it's negative. That is our point, and that's where we're going to start. -3, +2. -3, +2. We're going to put a point right there, okay? That's our point. And then we're going to use our slope, -2 down, and then +1 to the right. So -2, 1, 2, and then +1 to the right. And of course, you know from slope, it's constant, so you can do it again if you wanted. -2 to the right 1. Now, if I went back to that point, my first point, I could also go up to the left 1. And again, you can do it again, up to the left 1. You can do it 3 times if you wanted to. You can keep going, keep going, keep going. But I would just do it as many times as they ask you to on Alex. Okay? So that is your line. Let's try here. Again, what is our point? We know we have an x, and we know we have a y. Okay, x1, y1. And then our slope is what? So of course, we can say our slope is 4/3 because it's the number right in front. We know that, +4/3, up 4, right 3, or -4, down 4, left -3. Okay, that's also true. Now our point for, and you see how it's with the y, so this is the y point, this is with the x, it's the x point. So if it's negative, we know that x is going to be +5, and this is +4, so up here it's going to be -4. Okay, so let's start with our point, +5, up 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the point. Then we're going to move using our slope, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right 3, 1, 2, 3. Put a dot there. And then we're starting again from that point and going down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, left 3, 1. I lost my place. 1, 2, and 3. There we are. And we can do it again if we wanted to, but we don't have to. We'll just graph that. Perfect. All right, so now it says write an equation of the line, okay? Now, there's multiple ways to do this, and I'm going to use for these two, we'll write an equation of a line. Just go ahead and using the slope and the y-intercept, because both of these have a y-intercept. You see, this is your y. So wherever it crosses is your y-intercept. Wherever it crosses here, your y-intercept, and then we can find the point, the slope, using the 2 points, okay? So let's first have our y-intercept, or our b. And of course here, it crosses at positive 4. So positive 4 is my y-intercept, okay? And our slope, you always start, and we've done this on the day before. You start from the bottom. That's what I would do. Again, there's multiple ways to do it, but that's how I would do it. And we're going to get to this point here. Kind of light. 1, 2 up. So for our slope, or of course our m, I went 2 up. That's positive 2. Okay? I move 2 up. And then to the side, it's sketchy because it's very light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. So I move left, which is negative. So my slope looks like it's negative 2 over 5. Okay? So y equals mx plus b is my equation. Y equals what? Negative 2 over 5x plus 4. That's my equation of the line. Okay? Same thing here. Y-intercept first, and that represents my b. And I can just see that as negative 4. And slope, of course, that represents m, is going to start here at negative 4, and I'm going to this point. So I'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 4 is positive. Okay? And then right, so I went up 4 and right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the right 5 is also positive. Positive movement. So positive 4 over 5 is my slope. Y equals mx 4 over 5x plus b minus 4. Why do we have minus as opposed to plus? Because the 4 is negative, so I have to have minus. Okay. Perfect. Next, last page for this day. Find an equation of a line that passes through these points. Now, this actually is a very multi-stepped problem, believe it or not, okay? The first thing you need to find an equation of a line, no matter what, is slope, okay? But they give you these 2 points, and you can find the slope from these 2 points. So x1, y1, x2, y2, okay? They want you to use the slope formula, which is basically y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? I think this problem is actually one of the hardest ones on this census period that we've had so far, okay? Because there's multi-steps. You have to know multiple equations. And it says find an equation for a line. It doesn't tell you what type of equation. So we'll just put it in point slope. But we do have to find the slope first. So now that we have the slope, the equation, let's find the slope. Y2 is 1, so it's going to be 1 minus y1 is negative 2, over x2 is negative 6, minus x1 is 6, right? So this becomes 2, minus a negative is plus, so this is 1 plus 2, which is 3, over negative 6 minus 6 If you don't know that off the top of your head, you can put it in your calculator, which I don't mind you do, okay? Use your calculator to help you. It's a tool. -6 minus 6 becomes -12. -12. I'll just throw that in my calculator to see what the answer is. It's a little flare. So 3 divided by -12, or actually, if you have a negative at the bottom, not going to let you do it in the calculator. So just make it positive, 3 divided by 12, and then your answer will come out negative. So whatever that answer comes out is -1/4, okay? Because the 12 at the bottom, when you put it in calculator, it doesn't go very well. So that becomes actually -1/4, okay? So that's what we got for our slope. And now we can use our slope and 1 point. It doesn't matter which one. You can use this one or this one to put it in point slope. And we know point slope is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, we're going to use our slope, m, and 1 point. Okay, so we really need this point anymore. Now that we have our slope, we can just use that and 1 point to write an equation. This becomes y minus our y1 is -2 equals, and then -1/4 times x minus 6, okay, because 6 is x1. So you know that y minus negative becomes y plus 2 equals -1/4 times x minus 6. This can be your answer, okay? It says find the equation. This is the equation in point slope. This is the equation in point slope. It does not specify what type of equation. If they wanted y-intercept, you'd have to distribute and subtract the two to get y by itself. But in this case, this is an equation, so that's what they want. Okay, second one, find an equation for the line. So again, they give you 2 points, just like they did here. They gave you 2 points. Here, they give you 2 points, and you have to find the slope. And then once you find the slope, you use the slope in one of these points to put it in the equation like we did here, okay? So let me find the slope first, because with writing an equation, you have to have the slope. And if you don't, you have to be able to find it. So here, I'm going to go up 1, 2, looks like, kind of light. So I went up 2, and then left 1, 2, 3, 4. Left 4. Okay. I'm going to throw that in my calculator at 2 divided by 4. And of course, if the bottom is negative, my answer is going to be negative. -1/2 is my slope. Okay. That represents slope. So now that I have my slope as -1/2, I can use one of these points, but I have to know the point. So I'm just going to go here and say my point here is 1, 2, 3. This point here is 3, up 1. To the right 3, up 1. That's 3, 1. So I'm going to use 3, 1 as x1, y1 in my point slope. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's my point slope formula. Y minus 1, okay, equals -1/2 times x minus 3, okay? I put my slope in there, and then I put that in there, and that is going to be my answer in point slope formula. That's my equation in point slope formula, and this here is my equation in point slope formula from up here, okay? All right, because it does not say they want it in slope intercept. They want it in slope intercept. Here, you'd have to distribute and then add the 1 to that. All right, so here, write equations for the vertical and horizontal lines passing through the point. So they have the point 4 and 5, 4, 5, x is 4, y is 5. They want the horizontal and vertical lines. Now, if you had a vertical line, you'd have x equals. How do you know? Because a vertical line, if you look up here at this graph, a vertical line goes up and down. Horizontal goes side to side. When it crosses through the x-axis, because this is the x, and this is the y. If it crosses through the x-axis, it's x equals. That's why you know it's a vertical line. It's going to be x equals. And if it crosses through the y-axis, it's going to be y equals. So in this case, they want x equals 4. That's a vertical line through x equals 4 because that's where the x is. And then they said y equals what? 5. That's going to be a horizontal line. Okay, x equals 4 is a vertical line. Y equals 5 is a horizontal line at 5. Same thing here. Write the equations for a vertical line that passes through the point 5. So you have your x and y here. X equals 5 is the is the vertical line. Y equals -1 is going to be your horizontal. So this one is vertical. This is horizontal. Spell it correctly first. All right. So again, vertical, horizontal. Okay. And that is your Unit 5, Day 6 notes.